What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name's Chris, and this is part 6 of my ukulele build from StewMac. Last time you saw me close the box. This time you're going to see me do some work on the fretboard and the neck. The first step is to install side dots on the fretboard. Alright, so I've got the fretboard in my vise, and sorry if there's a lot of shadows and you can't see, but this is the best I have in here. So what I need to do is I need to put this little white stick that came in the kit into the top of the fretboard at the same spots as these inlaid pieces are on the face of the fretboard. I've got some glue, I've got some tape, I've got a pencil, I've got an awl, and I need a 1/16 inch drill bit. Let me see if I have one. I do. And I've got a flush cut saw. What I want to do first is find the exact middle of this fretboard so that I can know where to drill my hole. And I'm going to mark it with an awl. So I've got this tool from Incra, and it has measurements and little holes and stuff throughout it so that you can accurately find an exact measurement. And it happens to have a hole for each 1/64 of an inch, and you can put your pencil in there and mark it. So I'm going to find the middle of this. It looks like the fretboard is 12/64 inch thick. So I'm going to find the hole for 6/64 and mark down the fretboard. Alright, so I've got my pencil marks now. I'm just going to eye it for the middle in between those two frets with the awl right on that pencil mark, and that'll tell me where to drill. I've only got to drill about 1/8 of an inch down in each hole. Alright, so here we go. And I've got the stick here, and before I actually put the stick in with glue, I'm going to test it to make sure it actually goes in the hole. So the first one does. After I cut this one, I will likely have to sand down a little bit just on the edges to clean the edges up so it'll go into the next hole. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Oops, don't need that much. And I'm trying to stand outside of the light to where the shadow won't hit as much as I can. So I apologize if I do get some shadow in there, but all right, let me get some glue on that one. Glue. That'll work. And the last thing it says to do is just take a flat file and file them flush. Alright, next I have to cut the frets. So I've already straightened out the frets. They had a curve in them. I straightened them out according to the instructions, and I bought these cutters. These are some bigger cutters than what I had previously, so these are new. I got them from the home store just for this job here. But anyway, I'm going to do what it says to do in the instructions. I'm going to lay down a piece of tape. Alright, it says to place the tang, which is the bottom part of the fret, into the slot, very slightly protruding over. I'm going to cut it on the other end, and that'll be my first fret. And I'll just put it right here on the tape, and that won't go anywhere. I guess the fret wire is just going to fall to the ground every single time. I'm going to hold that down with my thumb and then grab onto the fret wire that's hanging with my pinky and ring finger. Check it out when I snip it. See that? It doesn't fall to the ground that way. The more you know. Right, I'm going to continue doing this all the way down the neck, and then I'll come back to you when I get done. Okay, now that they're cut, I have to install them. Supposedly I should be able to set this in here like this, hold it in with my finger on the center, and tap it in on both sides. Well, that didn't work. That side's in, but this one is not. I mean, is that supposed to stay in? What's the deal? It's not staying in. It's not even straight inside the slot. Please don't tell me I messed it up already. Looks like I've dented the board right there. It's like it's crooked. It's not going in. The tang doesn't go straight down. Alright, now it's straight. It looks like it's all the way in there. I hope it stays. If I'm doing anything wrong, please tell me in the comments, but don't be mean about it, I guess. Constructive criticism is welcome. Let me try this one now. Well, that's just gonna dent the board every time I do that. This one's crooked too. What's the deal? It's going in crooked. This is gonna drive me crazy. It doesn't want to go straight in. Turns. Let's straighten it out. It straightened it out when I started hitting on this side and then slowly worked my way this way. I've kind of damaged the fretboard a little bit, but it's my first one. Mistakes have already been made and more mistakes are bound to be made. I'm just gonna keep trying to do the best I can. That one was easier. It worked better when I hit on one side and then just work my way across instead of doing one side, other side, and then starting in the center. Alright, let me finish and then I'll see you when I get done. I'm just waxing the board so that I can put super glue and glue the frets in. It's so that it says it's so that the super glue doesn't stain the wood. Now I've got to put super glue down inside each one of these fret slots, and I've got some parchment paper so that it doesn't seep through and glue itself to the table. And what I have to do this is StewMac's number 10 thin super glue. Turn it on the side and just go ahead and put a little glue in each edge of each one. And you see that? Look at that, man. I'll tell you what. I bet you on those I'll block the hole with wax. It's going straight in on these. Flip it over and do the other side. I don't know if I was supposed to wax the side, I really don't. I have no idea. So I probably clogged them up myself. It's not going in on those because they're jammed with wax. I'm just gonna hope they stick and that they stay on there. Got a lot to learn, right? That's the fun. It's a process. Alright, now that I've got the glue done, it's been a couple of days and I've got a flat file here. I've got the fretboard clamped to the table. I'm just gonna rub this along the edges of those frets to get them flush with the side of the fretboard. I have no idea how long this will take. Alright, so that didn't take too long, maybe about 5 minutes per side. And once I got it flat all the way across, then what I did was tilted. I don't know it's focusing on my face. So once I got all the edges of the frets flush with the side of the fretboard, I then tilted my file just a little bit and filed the edges of them down just to give them a little angle so they're not so sharp. And that was basically all there was to do in the neck. Now, I'm going to show you a close-up. I'm not sure how this is supposed to look, but there's a gap underneath all the frets. It seems like it's bigger on some than others. I don't know if that's supposed to be there, but the fret is all the way seated, so I don't know. I guess that's just the way it is, but I don't know if I did something wrong. Alright, sorry about the light, but it's the best I have for right now. The next step is to drill holes in the body that match up with the holes in the neck. So I need to measure down the exact distance to the middle of that hole and put a spot here that I can drill into. And then I'll take these dowels that came with it, and that should go in there to position the neck where it goes on top of the body. So if I take my Inker tool here, it looks like about 17/32 of an inch to the exact middle of that top hole. And the bottom looks like 1 inch and 11/32 exactly to the middle of that bottom hole. Oh man, this light is horrible. So I've got my phone. I'm trying to shine light to where I can see. So those two marks should line up with the neck. It looks spot on. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the two holes. Can't see. Okay, I just got to make sure that I go straight and then I'm square. I'm just kind of lining this up on top because I know that that's a straight piece of wood, and I can check the gap between the drill bit and the piece of wood to make sure that it's even all the way. So I do that again. The bottom one. I really need to give me some some brad point drill bits to make sure that I'm 100% in that little hole I made, but I think I am. And the directions said to drill at least 5/8 inch into the wood, and that's a 1/4 inch drill bit I was using. Well, I gotta take it out of the clamps and hold it up and see what it looks like. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So the next step is actually not to attach the neck yet, it's to glue the fretboard onto the neck. Alright, so it's been a day since I worked on the fretboard where I filed down the frets. And I've got the neck, and the nut. The nut goes right at where that angle changes there. So I'll put the nut on there, line it up with that angle line, and then drew a line with the pencil. And that tells me where to put the neck when I glue it on. So what I'll do is I'll just cover that pencil line. So I've got to get my glue out. I'm going to get some of those rubber band clamps that they sent in the kit, and then I should be ready to go. I don't know if you can tell, but I just got back from Home Depot a little while ago, and I got a couple of new light bulbs, some really bright LEDs to replace some of the soft white bulbs I had in here. So to me it looks a good bit brighter in here, but there's still a lot of shadows, and I don't even know if you can tell on the camera, but whatever. I'm trying to help a little bit. You probably hear my kids upstairs, huh? It's bedtime, so for some reason my kids just get wilder and wilder the more and more tired they get. I've heard of stories like that with other people too. Alright. Now, the neck is just a tad bit narrower than, the fretboard is just a tad bit narrower than the neck. So I can feel a little bit overhang on the neck, and I'm making sure that's the same all the way down. That feels good, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it. I think that's going to be good. Go ahead and tie it. I think that's about it. All I can do now is wait for it to dry. Alright, it says to let it dry for 45 minutes, and it's been about 2.5 hours. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and I was going to go to bed and just take this off in the morning, but I'm too anxious to see what it looks like. So I'm back down in the shop, everybody else is asleep, and I'm going to take this off now. I do have to say that it does look pretty rough. The wax that I put on the fretboard is all dried and just looks bad on there. It's a lot of glue squeeze out. That's gonna have to be cleaned up, and I'll have to of course shape the neck a little bit to match up with the edges of the fretboard. But what I wanted to do is put it with the body and try to get an idea of what it looks like now. Pretty cool. So I'm having a look in the camera screen so I can see what it looks like. That's pretty cool. Getting pretty excited. Really looking forward to the next few steps. This has been a really fun project. I've really enjoyed it. It's got me looking forward to really looking forward to building a guitar. Really wanting to get into lutherie and become a guitar builder. I think that's kind of my trajectory in woodworking right now. But I really like it. It's pretty cool, huh? Well, I guess we're at the end of this part. I appreciate you watching. Next time we're gonna have to clean up the neck, and we're gonna have to actually attach the neck. I don't know how far we'll make it in the next part, whether we'll finish the body or that'll be the next part after that. I do not know, so we'll just see when we get there. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.